As Vice Chair of the European Affairs Committee, I'm delighted to speak on
Is it
challenges
Friday?
facing the European Union.
No,
The
whatever.
European Union is a unique
I'll take it.
organisation which transcends national boundaries and pools sovereignty from the 28 member states. The fact that it is unique and that no other organisation has followed the path which the Union has made means the EU faces a number of challenges. One of the main challenges which I think the EU faces is interactions with people of the various member states. At times, it has to be said, the European Union is viewed as something that's over there, something that's not directly impacting on us. The reality is, of course, is the European Union, its institutions and its laws impact on Irish people on a daily basis. Regulations and directives exist which govern a myriad of issues from social to health to economic to financial. The impact is often not felt, primarily because some of the laws, such as safety regulations, are common sense, so much so that you cannot imagine a time without them. However, on the other occasions, the impact of the EU, and in particular specific EU laws, are very keenly felt and have an enormous impact on life, such as in my own constituency in Galway West, where today we have the news of the publication of the emerging preferred route for the Galway bypass. We were at this stage before nearly 14, 15 years ago, and because of European designations and court challenges to the High Court and the Supreme Court and European Court of Justice, that process was delayed. So that has a hugely direct and lasting impact on a process to alleviate traffic in Galway. That's just one of the reasons where the EU has had an impact, and often viewed not in a positive light, it has to be said. It's a case of who's more important, habitat versus human beings and the people of Galway. That has been a debate that has been going on in Galway for a long number of years. Another challenge facing the EU is related to the interaction between the Union and the citizens of the Member States. It is the role of the national parliaments. The Lisbon Treaty envisaged a much greater role for the national parliaments in the workings of the Union, including in the legislative process. I'm not entirely convinced that the national parliaments are playing the role that was envisaged. There's such a plethora of legislation, directives, regulations and rules from Europe that scrutiny by national parliamentarians presents a major challenge. In the aftermath of the Seán referendum, I propose that the Seán adopt a European approach. It is my view that the Seán could play a valuable role in scrutinising legislation from Europe, not just when the legislation is at an advanced stage in the process, but from the start at each stage. For a small member state, this will be significant to ensure our voice is heard. Recently, I attended a European delegation with the European delegation to the UK to discuss the implications of withdrawal from the European Union of the United Kingdom, and I'd like to wish all the candidates very best of luck in the elections that are taking place today. And it will be a very important decision for the future of this country. Obviously, we share a common land border to the UK via Northern Ireland, and we do a huge amount of trade with the UK, and as the UK does with us. So it can have huge implications if they were to withdraw, if they were to leave. The impact on it would be huge. And we met with a variety of groups during that visit, Irish people and various companies, Irish companies involved in trade there, a number of Irish groups, a number of immigrant groups, a number of state agencies, including Board Bia and others. We met with Ambassador. We met with a number of members of Parliament, both government and opposition, and members of the House of Lords as well. So there's a wide variety and a wide and varied discussion, all conscious of the special relationship between Ireland and the UK and the impact of a possible withdrawal of the UK from the European Union. And obviously we won't know till the new government is formed whether it's likely that a referendum would take place. And we were very careful not to suggest how anyone might vote in such a referendum, but to get it across to people that we had very much a stake in the result of that referendum, and we were trying to get that point across, and I think we did. And they acknowledge anyway the strong relationship or the strong role that this country has with the UK. The other, I think, primary issue and challenge at present is in relation to the migrants off the coasts of Libya, which are presently obviously landing in Italy. At the European Affairs Committee last week, we met with, we expressed our appreciation to the Italian ambassador for the role that Italy has played in this challenge. And I think it's beholden on every country to take its fair share of migrants from that crisis, because no one country can handle it, and a number of countries have stepped up, many others have not. And I think it's responsibility of all countries to do something, because this is a crisis. It's no fault of anyone wanting to come to better their lives, to come to Europe for whatever chances they might think they have. No one would blame them in any way for that. We have a strong reputation of immigrating and looking to improve our lives as well, and I certainly don't blame anyone, but we need to ensure that every country plays its fair share in this. Gur magat, Laskin Gordon.